Okay,
Is Christie, she's off? She's off.
okay. All right. We'll bring the meeting to order.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. I can tell. We're still talking.
Okay, can we all state the pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Hi, Casey.
Hello.
How are you? Okay. Okay, we're gonna discussion with Historical Commission, Kristen Hendricks. Discussion with Historical Society, Leslie. Discussion of 250th American Revolution celebration, including possible fireworks or drone show and pricing. Approval of meeting minutes, December 1st, 2025. Thank you, Westboro TV, for the live coverage. Okay, so we're going to have a discussion with Historical Commission, Christian Hendricks.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Good
Very
evening.
good, thank you.
My name is Christian Hedrick. I'm the chair of the Historical Commission here. And so I thought I was invited and thought I would come and tell you guys a couple of things we've been talking about, maybe in hopes that we can all kind of collaborate and sort of coordinate, I guess. So there's a few things that we've been meaning to do for a little while, and this has kind of given us some impetus or some kind of motivation to bump them up to the list. And one is we have a map. We have a kind of a map of historical Westboro that's a little bit outdated, and we were starting to work on updating that and kind of bringing it up to kind of 21st century. I don't know. It's been a couple decades, I think, since it's been updated. So we're interested in updating that map, and of course, one of the ideas that came up with regard to that map is maybe digitizing it and potentially seeing if there might be an availability to make it a kind of an app or something that's a little bit more interactive that one could use while they were walking downtown. They might be able to have it on their phone and sort of select something on the map that they're near, and then that would sort of give them some written description. Because we have a lot of files. There's already a lot of text that's written, but there isn't that much access to it. And so it's kind of a lot of what we've been talking about doing is kind of like marrying the text that we have, updating that to some of the kind of digital, hopefully a digital map that we can do. So there's different layers of that. There's obviously app development. You can take that, you can go crazy with that. Or you can have it a little bit more, reasonable in terms of basic use. So we were kind of toying with how we might do that. That would be something we'd be interested in collaborating with somebody who might be interested in app development or something like that. We also were interested in producing some kind of pamphlet or a little publication that has to do with the events and kind of Westboro's role during the Revolution and that time period. And then we had a big sort of, sort of our dream goal, which would be to organize a kind of open air trolley tour of Westboro. And that would sort of, you can rent these trolleys, weddings do it and things like that. And there are a whole variety of different kind of tours you could do or buses you could rent. But we were kind of interested in that kind of historical aspect of that the trolley brings, and maybe, we had talked about how often this might be and what sites it might involve, but like a short driving tour around Westboro, maybe once each month, June, July, August. We have to figure that out. But I looked into some initial pricing, and we have to talk about maybe who would help us with that. Sponsors, I know the EDC is interested in things. So, there's a lot of opportunities there. And I think the idea would be that this kind of trolley tour would visit some of the historic sites in town that kind of played a role around the time of the Revolution. So there's obviously, we have over, as you'll hear, I think next, I don't know if she's here yet, but you'll hear next with the Historical Society, we have over approximately 35 or more what are called, generally referred to as witness houses, that are houses that existed are still standing, that were existing during the Revolution. So there's interest in kind of maybe driving by those. A lot of them are still private houses, so we can't really have tours of these houses, but we can have, bus stops and explanations about the role that these houses and places played during the Revolution. So those are just some of the ideas. We're open to a variety of different things. Obviously, our specialty is, documenting, surveying the historic properties in town and taking care of the cemeteries. And, a lot of what we do on the day-to-day basis is sort of restoration of cemetery grave work and carrying out surveys on different properties in town. So that's kind of like, and we have our little museum in our office there, which, we could open that up to certain times during the day, because there's a lot of artifacts in there, kind of like Native American artifacts and things like that are there that we would be happy to open up. We started kind of making it a more visitable museum last year. We started inviting the third graders in and giving them a tour. So we've set it up so it's an environment where we can have guests and things come in and take a look. So that's just some of the ideas. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if there's more I can explain or anything like that, I'm happy to.
Christian,
Yes.
Casey, thanks so much for coming
Sure.
by today. The trolley idea is something that resonates with me. I've talked about it a little bit before, like bus tours and whatnot.
Okay.
I was wondering if you had got any kind of pricing on any of those, what that looked like.
I did a little bit. There's a few that are kind of closer by, without getting super specific. It's looking like, just based on this idea of coming 3 times, doing 3 different tours, we could maybe do 10 or 11 stops for each one of those. Those, someone in our group mentioned they should be all different. It's also possible we could repeat the tour. So I don't know. There's a lot to be worked out there. But I think on the lower end, it looked like it was somewhere for the 3 visits for the whole thing around $7,000. And then on the higher end, it was closer to $9,000 for kind of like 3 visits. But that's just initial pricing. I haven't done any official requests from them. But that's just sort of like looking at their websites. And,
Yeah, cool.
And they might give us a better deal because we're a municipality instead of a wedding group, And probably, different nights of the week, I think, would benefit us. Saturday night is going to probably be the most. But, so I think there's some flexibility there. So,
Thanks.
sure.
I do like the trolley idea a lot, because the trolleys were way back as well. You had really a lot of good ideas that really
Okay.
popped up.
Okay.
We're-
Yeah, I love the trolley idea too.
Yeah.
I mean, just because we have the old trolley tracks, the sites where
Right.
Right.
we could highlight those too.
Right.
And I love the app idea too. Like the thought. I mean, that's a great pie in the sky, but I mean, I think it's a great goal that we could even get, even if there's younger kids that were messing around with some app stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just thinking about this while we're kind of spitballing is to to be able to walk downtown and then be able to click kind of where you are, and even some of the old images like Phil Kittredge has, those things are
Yes.
just
Exactly.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be really, really cool. I mean, obviously you got a lot of pictures here in the
Right.
downtown area, but even out towards Chauncey and whatnot, even the old like Route 9 sites or something, probably not the best thing to do app on your phone when you're driving, but it would be really interesting too. I love that idea as well.
So when you say trolley,
Yes.
do you mean like one of the trolley buses?
Yeah, it's like a bus.
like a city bus that's
Yeah.
outfitted to look like a trolley.
Right. Like downtown Boston, they have the hop on, hop off thing.
Yeah,
And I checked out a few places like around Worcester. I think in Shrewsbury, there's one. They do limo rentals and stuff, but they also have these like trolleys, which is like a bus and it kind of like is fitted out to look like a trolley.
Right.
And yeah.
And that's what like the $7,000 comes for, basically 3 sessions of renting the trolley.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So there's 34 historic houses. Is that what you
It's, I think,
said?
ish. There's more than 30, but less than 40, I believe.
Sure.
And
Somewhere
I
around
think it's around 35,
Are
36.
most of those like in the downtown area?
Most of them, yes, but there are a few out, like all the way out to Nurse Farm, obviously.
Sure.
So they're kind of around because they were all farms, so they're all kind of spread out initially. But there are most of them, I think, I believe, are still downtown.
So meshing a couple of the ideas, and one of the things that I personally try to do on this commission is try to like broaden the scope of who's included in some of these ideas, because I have little kids and many of these ideas don't work for little kids.
Okay.
But one of the things little kids love is the horse rides. So at like the festival day, I mean, that thing is packed with kids all the time. And I was wondering if something similar could be done with horses,
With horses.
sort of a horse ride to some of these
Yeah.
historic houses.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, horse pulling a carriage.
You mean
Yeah.
like the kids sitting on a buckboard? Sitting on a
No,
buckboard,
like,
taking them around
like
town?
a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So I can never remember the name of the summer event that we were talking about the other day.
The July
Oh, block
4th.
party. Yeah, yeah.
July 4th.
Yeah, the July 4th. So
Right.
one of the things that they do there, they have a horse pulling carriage. They have
Right,
2
right.
of those, and those things are full all night.
Right.
You're
Kids will
right,
just
they are.
cycle through those things. But if you could do something like that where parents could get the historical information and the kids could just ride around town in a carriage, I think that would be something the kids would like and parents would like too.
For the 4th of July celebration.
Or for other,
Which is actually, it's not on the 4th.
No,
What day is it
it's
actually?
probably June 29th,
26.
26th.
last
26, yeah.
26th, correction, the 26th.
but even thinking how there's the farmer's market in the evenings, I think on Thursdays is when they do
Yeah,
it.
Thursdays.
But I mean,
Thursdays.
kids come out to that, and if you had it associated with that on various Thursdays, then the kids could go to some of the closer ones in downtown potentially. I don't know the logistics, but you wouldn't need to shut down streets like the parade. Probably.
Right.
So
I like the museum as well,
Okay.
to kind of open up for the kids to go in there and
Yeah.
take a look at. I like that idea as well.
I don't think most people in town, unless they've been here, know about the museum.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's really the reason we have our office. I mean, it's a big deal. The
Everyone
state
thinks
let
it's
us
just an old
have all
building down
those.
the road.
Sorry.
Everyone just thinks it's an old building down the road.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I mean, last spring we hosted a whole thing for the 3rd graders to come. They did a 3-station stop. They stopped in our office. We gave them a tour. Chris Allen and I gave them a tour of the all the like artifacts in there. They did a stop in the cemetery. They got a little presentation in the cemetery, and then they also got John Arnold was in the Great Hall there, and he did a mock town hall meeting with them. So they had these 3 stations. It was great.
See,
It was a lot of
I
fun.
like to bring that as well. That sounds cool.
So opening
like
the
that.
museum office is, that's pretty easy for
Yeah.
us because it just requires somebody to be there and open it up and answer
I
questions.
like that a
People come
lot.
in. So, yeah, I think the horse-drawn carriage is a pretty cool idea too. We would be happy to support, whatever aspects of that. I'm not really myself an event planner per se, but I'm happy to kind of help and coordinate and, do whatever I can to
Gave us a lot of good ideas.
support the
Yeah.
effort. Okay. So yeah,
Folks planning on attending the June 26th, the 4th of July, you are.
sure. Yeah. I mean, individually or as a group or,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the thought of the committee is. I'm just, I think it'd be great to have you there.
Oh, yeah, to present, things and informational.
Send you pamphlets or.
well, that could be another
or
aspect.
Sibley House
Sure.
visits. That
And I
might
like
be
the
time
digital,
for the-
like he was
for the,
saying.
Rides.
Hmm.
That's the only real hard date we have on the
Okay.
calendar.
Okay.
So far to support, so if you have some sort of, thing you want to put on, that would be the day to do it.
Okay.
I don't know if that, I wouldn't ask you to move the museum from the location.
Right.
to
Right.
today's date, but something in that kind of vein, that would be agreeable, could be a good fit. And I guess more on the block party for the committee, but at the right time, so.
So is there something like potentially to have like a booth there or something?
100%.
Or- Okay. Yeah, that would be something we'd be
Yeah,
interested in.
Jen Kirkland has been very gracious and open to sharing the whole space of
Okay.
this event. So
Okay.
I think we have, she'd be willing to support.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely have a kind of presence like that. I can be there. And I mean, another thing I do is some outreach with the schools. Sometimes I'll work with the social studies coordinator and I have a couple maps that I've made that are like really big and they're foam core, and I bring them into the other third grades and, different, and I lay them out and let the kids look at the maps, and we talk about Westboro history and things like that. So I mean, we can do some presentation style things
Something
there
fun,
too. So
kids to look at it, play with
Yeah.
during the day.
yeah.
Hopefully nice day weather-wise, so.
Well, if we get the horses, like Andrew was
Yeah.
suggesting, we can bring them if they would
Absolutely.
allow us
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
to go see the
the only
museum.
Quibble, I think, on that is just getting the access for the paths approved by the
Yeah.
police,
Right.
but if we can get that, and I would think the best day to do it would be the block party, if they're already working on that kind of stuff, so that's a great suggestion.
Let me ask a question. You folks are both on that committee for the 4th of July. So is that time locked in for, what is it, 5 to, because I was thinking
9.
maybe start a little bit earlier. So some of these things can be accomplished. Andrew's talking about, she's talking,
6 to 9 is the
6 to 9.
window. It's a hard stop at 9 per
Right.
the ordinances. Looks like R2, so Roberta and I met with Jen Kirkland and
Yes.
Pete Allen earlier this week. Just kind of basically they said, sure, whatever we can do to help was the gist of it. 2 specific things they suggested we could take advantage of was at 6 o'clock, they have a kickoff kind of announcement, hello thing. So if we wanted to piggyback on that,
Yeah,
John Arnold, please read the Declaration of Independence to the crowd,
Right.
something like that. Or we could hire an impersonator, whatever. And then at 8 p.m. roughly is their intermission for the band. And that's another 30 to 45 minute block of time where they said, have at it, it's your stage. So that was the two kind of tangible points we could latch on to do something. And if that's at 6 o'clock, hey, there's horse-driven carriages with historical, town accompaniment, like please meet at such and such area, that could be part of that. So we can take advantage of our microphone at that time.
So you say 6 to 9, that's for the block party or for?
Correct.
Okay.
and that was my question.
Yeah.
Could we push it, would there be an availability of pushing it back maybe an hour? To give people a little bit more time,
Yeah, I mean, 6 is late for people with little kids.
Yeah.
especially if it's going to be more activities than there normally is.
Yep.
So you need a little bit more time than we normally have. I guess, that's my question. I don't know whether it's for you folks or the selectmen or
We can ask
who the
Jen.
hell it's for. huh?
We can ask Jen
Ask Jen.
about that.
Ask Jen.
Yeah.
That's what-
I remember our meeting with her last week. She said 5 to 6 we could take
Yeah.
before they go on.
Yeah,
5 to 6, it's dead. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think she was a little more fluid on the hard stop at 9, right?
9.
Yeah.
Because the neighbor, yeah.
Yeah, but didn't we push that? And she said 10 was fine, or did you check that out, or was that
The
hard
9
stop?
was the cutoff,
I
but
thought
whatever
you
we
said
want to
sometimes
do.
it's run a little bit
Yeah.
later. There
Yeah,
hasn't been an issue.
yeah. Just
Am I right? Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So when you say
to
it's,
work with us, most definitely.
so when you say it's dead before 6, you mean nobody comes before that? Is that
right.
what you mean?
People start sending up Andrew
Uh-huh.
in that time frame, and then they start filtering in.
But they wouldn't have to. I mean, if the event
No.
was going on longer, conceivably people would come
Yeah,
to the event. Okay.
Yeah.
They would come in the time that it starts, they would be there.
Mhm. Gotcha.
most definitely.
Because people look forward to it.
Yeah.
And I think if we,
Well, if there's more
historical, or
content.
whoever, you know, rides or
They were
whatever, actually
definitely,
gonna need that extra time in the front end.
even Peter Allen and BJ and I really got full support of both of them about the band, right, Andrew, I mean BJ, and other things that she's willing to work, both of them, with us. So they're all open for it, so I'm happy about that.
And Christian, I'm going to be meeting with Tara again on Wednesday, so we're
Oh,
going
okay.
to chat some more.
Okay.
We've met once already, just to
Oh, okay.
kind of bring the
Great.
schools into it a
Yeah,
little more.
that'd be
so.
great.
Is it so? Is it possible that I could put someone on the list for a coming up speaker or no?
I can
Sure.
I
Okay,
can
great.
schedule to, yeah.
So the assistant superintendent was going to stop by the January 13th, I think, meeting that Monday, whatever that. I think it's the 13th.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you very
Thanks
much.
so
Let me
much.
know
Sean,
what I
Sean.
can do.
Question, and I have a question. This is for you and maybe for Leslie. I know you guys have done events in the past where folks have dressed up and talked about historical events in town. Was that the historical commission? Was that just?
That's the
Leslie.
But, you know, I'm not opposed to doing that.
dress up whatever.
That's a good segue. Good segue or- sorry.
Poor
That's a
guy
good
standing there,
segue.
I have to dress up now? Give me a
Yeah.
break.
all right, great. Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you so much. We
Thank you very much for
appreciate
your
it.
time.
Thank you so much. Next is Leslie Leslie. Welcome. It's so good to see you.
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
So I'll introduce myself because I don't know everyone here. My name is Leslie Leslie. I'm a member of the Westboro Historical Society. I've been on the board, I think, a little over 25 years. And I actually call myself a local historian now because I've read Chris Allen's book. And I believe she's on her way also. So,
Oh, good. Oh, wonderful.
but you invited me here, and I'm happy to answer any
We're so
questions.
happy that you're here. I'm happy to see you.
I have a silly question. What's different between the historical commission and the historical society?
I can answer that. So the Historical Commission is a town public body, a board that has a certain charge from the state. Kristen can help me here probably a little bit better. To preserve the cemeteries, the historic resources that go to the land, native artifacts, and the cemeteries. You oversee our historic cemeteries in town. So they have a specific charge under state law, and those members, I believe, are appointed by select board. Okay, see, I've got friends in the audience. Whereas the Historical Society is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have been, I guess, in business since 1898, I believe, and we are primarily under 501c3 an educational organization. So we've just adopted a new mission, but we're here to preserve local history. And we do that in several ways. We do have a small historical museum on Parkman Street, 13 Parkman Street. So we operate that and collect artifacts that tell the story of Westboro. We also work with the Westboro Public Schools to share local history and to teach local history. And we do provide public programming to the community. So that might be talks, lectures, and events to do that. But we are a separate nonprofit. So we both, I think, have the same core at heart, is that we love Westboro and want to see Westboro history preserved, but two different organizations, two different missions.
Right on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Leslie, thanks. I'm sorry I kind of dragged you in here too because I wanted to chat with you. The 250th, this is kind of what we're all organized for.
I wear my 250 pin.
Wonderful. Love it. And one of the functions is to kind of coordinate with other town bodies and entities. And we were wondering if you folks had been in discussions with other things. Okay. We just love to hear what you're thinking.
So you've spoken, no, okay, so we have different hats on. Chris Allen is here also with me from the
Hi,
Historical
Chris, how are you?
So this is the first group that we have talked about in terms of collaborations around events and activities. We also have a schedule of activities that we've been doing, and I've actually started, kicked it off with a presentation on witness houses that I have done for the Senior Center, the Civic Club, and we did it as one of our public programs at the Society. And it was very well attended. We had an overflowing house at our small museum the other night. And so I think that's something that we could do for the greater public here in Westboro in collaboration with you. I don't know if you know what witness houses are. I live in a house that dates from 1729 that's still standing.
What's a witness?
And that's what I'm saying about a witness house is. So that house was a witness to the revolution. This comes from the Lexington Battle Road. The Lexington Historical Society and maybe, I don't know if the National Park Service, designated all of the homes that are still standing that were witness to that retreat of the British, and they called them witness houses. This kind of concept was picked up in Northborough by the Northborough Historical Society, and they did I haven't attended the program, but I've seen the materials about identifying homes in their town. So I said, gee, I wonder how many towns in Westboro were witness to that revolutionary history. And there are 37. So it's just a lovely piece of history that we have here. Events around the revolution did not take place in Westboro, but we have some historical stories, people who participated in the revolutionary activities, and we have homes that were witness to history. So I think that's a neat kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that I would be happy. Hey, one more time, right?
One more
each time I
time.
do it, I do a little bit more research and we get a little bit more information out there.
I love that.
If I can
ahead.
digress just for a moment.
Oh, yes, go right ahead.
Because Leslie had mentioned that she doesn't know a lot of people on.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do is first introduce myself and then have you all
Right.
introduce you.
Right.
Have you introduced
Yes, I
yourself?
have.
You're
Gotta
getting
be on
taller.
time.
I thought we were at 5:30. Oh, well, that's all right. Obviously, things are getting taller than when I was a selectman. And Lydia, we served on the same board at different times, and we were the same
Several
size.
times.
It's called the right size. In any case, hi, I'm Chris Allen. I'm an historian of the town of Westboro. I wrote the hit 360-pager history of Westboro called On the Beaten Path. As you probably know, we've been the crossroads of industrial and population activity since 8,000 years ago. And there have been Native American paths crisscrossing Westboro, and I guess I better not launch into a 5-hour lecture of Westboro history. So basically, we're going to focus on the 250th. I would like to give you an overview of my understanding because I have just been appointed as Westboro's representative to the Metro West Boston Visitors Bureau to work with them about the historical events that we are coordinating in Westboro. Because I am on the board of the Westboro Historical Commission, have been on the board of the Historical Society since the bicentennial. I don't know how many of you have been around, except for Bobby, in 1975. So I actually have been on the board of the Historical Society since 1975. We need new officers, fellows and ladies. So if you'd like to be an officer, boom, come to the Historical Society and be happy to oblige. So essentially, however, it is my understanding from various people in the government that across the United States, the federal government wanted every state to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, which, as you know, essentially began before 1775 and extended to 1782. However, the U.S. government wanted particularly to bring in economic development around events. So what they did is they asked each state to form various towns' 250th anniversary committees. So you will find these committees in every state of the country. Done, and they all kind of act a little differently, but their basis was a directive from the feds as far as the Office of Economic Development. And then Governor Healy said, okay, we're going to focus on economic development as interpreted by events celebrating the 250th anniversary, because everybody wants to jump in, show their patriotism, and have fabulous events. And they said, so the Economic Development Committee, our department in Massachusetts, said, okay, what we'd like to do is have every town who would like to form a 250th anniversary committee, voila, Westboro, to attract visitors to events. What are those visitors going to do? Well, they come from Cambridge and Boston. They don't know anything about Westboro except they pass through it, through 495, Route 9, as we are at major crossroads of routes. They don't know about Westboro. I don't know about Ludlow. I've never been there, don't even know where lots of these small towns are. So Governor Healy and the State Department of Economic Development said, okay, let's promote these towns to have events for the 250th anniversary that will bring visitors in to spend money. If it's a weekend, let's say Westboro says, okay, we're going to have a family concert of songs of rebellion. Those go from 1775, or a little earlier, Songs of Rebellion, to 2026. I know I sang them in the 60s, as such as We Shall Overcome, and various things that lots of you have never heard of. But there were those of us who were marching and parading and rebelling and singing songs. Maybe Bobby and Lydia, and perhaps Leslie. No, she's a baby. Right. But since I just turned 80, I do remember a lot. And I have been active in Westboro history since 1975. Okay, given that concept, though, we're a relatively small town in the central Westboro and Massachusetts. State says we want to develop and bring visitors to Westboro. Well, how about doing a concert of rebellion songs on Saturday and a tour with Leslie in an open-air trolley that will, for 3 different months, one a month, will focus on 10 of the witness houses, 10 different ones each month. How about that? That sounds like fun. So, Saturday.
Can I interrupt though?
Sure.
Oh, so I think what we're here is mostly to find out what you're interested in. We've started talking about some things the society will do and where those would meet. Because we just started to talk about some ideas. Some of our work at the society is also geared to our membership. So we are doing 2 programs this spring focusing on the Adams, John and Abigail Adams. That was of interest to us, our membership, et cetera. ties also into the revolution and that experience. But I guess you have a short charge in terms of what you want to get done by, what's July 1?
July 4.
When your funding ends, is July 1?
Officially on the state level, you all end on July 4.
Funding of this initiative.
Oh, the funding.
Well, we have the funding in our
It was voted
account. It was already voted
on,
on.
voted on at town meeting.
So now we have,
So, but what's the charge of this group? How long are you
Oh.
established?
till the revolution ends.
I got
until
the answer today.
250.
No, I just, I'm asking
July.
this group, Chris.
July.
July is
Yeah.
when your commission,
Yeah.
your group is ending. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're only here for
A short period of time.
exactly a small, short period of time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we will love to work
Basically,
with
I
both
talked
of
to
you
the
ladies.
people, well, Laura Crawford, who is in charge of involving businesses in doing events and bringing people to Westboro. And she has been involved with the state, obviously. And according to Laura, 250th Anniversary Committee's activities end on July 4th, 2026. However, the state also is kind of, let's expand it a little. We don't want to stop people from coming and spending money in Westboro on July 4th. Let's bring this out through August so that there may be activities through August. But for instance, as I was saying, let's say there was a concert on Saturday of Rebellion songs, a great trolley tour run by Leslie on Sunday. People have to stay somewhere. Why not hotels in Westboro? They have to eat. Why not restaurants? Brio 33, our tour. It's to bring people in to find out that a place they only have heard of has great restaurants, a super place to stay, a park with a concert called Bay State Commons, and places. Maybe the Historical Society has special historical events for kids. Whole families will come in and actually spend money in Westboro and figure out, my God, there's a place called Westboro, let alone Northboro and Southboro.
Maybe you're right, Chris. Maybe that they might extend it if we ask. We never asked that question.
And you don't have
begin
to, Roberta, because, and you were in my Girl Scout troop, if I remember. Basically, your particular charge would end on July 4th. However, because I was on the board of the Historical Commission and the board of the Historical Society, wrote the history of Westboro with Tony Weber, who was not with Tony, but doing research with Tony for my history column that runs in the Community Advocate. I basically represent the various parts of Westboro that are involved in historical events. And so with Christian, we, at our last Historical Commission board, and I've yet to present to the Historical Society board, but I talked to my next door neighbor, who happens to be the president of the Historical Society, about forming a committee that would be focused on the historical events around the American Revolution that we would like to plan together as just a kind of a subcommittee that plans with everybody as far as scout. Well, I did train Westboro, and Rachel Deering trained me. Anyway, but I want them to get the big picture and then ask questions. Big picture, yes, I could talk to 5 hours. I won't, 5 minutes. Basically, it's to bring people and visitors to Westboro, to spend money, to recognize what a great town we are through the events we run. And I've been asked again, I want to show you something.
I love her.
This is what we're involved in. The Metro West Boston Visitors Bureau of the 250th. They are coordinating 250th anniversary activities throughout the state. You guys would be reporting to them what you plan, right? What Westboro and all the nonprofits and everything else are planning for these events, for this time period, to them. What they do is they have a fabulous PR system, and they put out magazines like this. In this, and there's going to be a lot of magazines like this. In this one, it says 20 interesting things about towns in Metro West. Guess what? Westboro has 2, and one of them that I thought was fascinating, and I was here for but didn't go. In 1974, how many of you remember the Speedway? All right. In 1974, Aerosmith performed at the Speedway as one of the first outdoor concerts it did. Westboro,
Trying to get
Massachusetts. It's listed in here as one of the 20 interesting facts about Metro West. Okay, so they have money to spend on PR. They want to promote what Westboro is doing. They have a very good website. They have daily blogs. They have incredible PR that goes across this time Metro West Visitors Bureau, which extends from Natick, Sudbury, Hudson, Bellingham of all places, and west to Westboro. Our district itself does not include Grafton, and they've made lines where they thought. So in that area is Metro West Boston particularly. There are other districts throughout the state. They have their own 250th committees, each town, if they want one, and are coordinating things. However, I've been appointed to tell these guys, the Visitors Bureau, what Westboro is doing so they can publicize it to the entire state with a lot of bling and ta-da.
And I believe, Chris, not to interrupt. but I
Please
believe
do,
that
because
will
I'm
be up-
about to,
I-
Liz
I
is going to
believe that'll
pull me
be
off.
up on the website.
Excuse me, would you please repeat that, Lydia?
I said I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying, but I believe all of that will be put up on the website, the town, because Christy, who's not here this evening, but last time she was here, she mentioned that. A lot of the activities that we're planning together, and most of it's going to, as far as I know, what we voted on, several weeks ago, is going to go around the 4th of July, celebrate the block party.
Right.
So
And I've
that's
been-
what we're focused on.
Do you have any questions?
This group.
Sure.
So, what assistance would be helpful for you from the Historical Society, our organization?
Or the
in
subcommittee?
terms of either participating in or promoting your efforts?
I would say both, Leslie.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely want you guys there because you're chock full of knowledge, both of you. I think I can talk for the rest of the group that even Casey said something about you joining us, a reenactment, or like something you said about going in the trolleys, like if we can subcommittees and you guys can do your own thing like we used to, Leslie, and do it that way. If the committee
So when
all,
we normally, our organization doesn't do reenactments for the 300th. When we sponsored the reenactment, the militia, we brought in professional, volunteers who do that work.
You're right.
And then they have a bigger kind of group that comes in. They have the knowledge base, et cetera. Our society is focused on Westboro history, the tie-in from the revolutionary events to Westboro history. We don't really have, the cannons didn't come through here. We don't have any
Right.
place-based
Right.
history, but we have connections to the revolution, the revolutionary movement and Massachusetts early history. That's our connections. It's just dovetailing between the two organizations here of how we would collaborate. So just opening up the chains of communication is good.
Right.
If you have an idea you want to bounce off, we can do that. if we have an idea, we know where to bring it, that.
Because
type
I
of
definitely
thing.
want to, we would definitely want to bring you two in, because,
But knowing what your plan is very helpful because it's short time. It's very short time.
it's very short time. And I know you guys go up in the block party and you set up a table chock full of knowledgeable things. If you can help us there as well. I mean,
That's an easy lift. If it's through the regular activities, you're going to do the what is it? Usually the Friday before July 4th.
It's going to
Exactly.
be June 20th.
Exactly.
I think.
I mean, I like the trolleys. I like all these other things, like,
But that's add-ons. And
That's
so that
add-ons.
takes- So it's
Right.
coordination,
right,
development of content, volunteers, promotion. And
Exactly.
you're looking at
And
a,
$7,000. $9,000 to have
For
the
the trolley.
trolleys.
oh,
the
there-
trolley.
Yeah, and we're going to get the civic club in there
yeah.
to pay for it.
But so she's all gung ho on it, and I'm like, I have a full-time job.
yeah.
I used to do this full-time job.
So,
What the hell?
that's part of the challenge of if we have an idea, how do we bring it forward and make it happen?
Right.
That's reasonable within the community. Also, I don't know if we've ever asked the community what they would like to see. So I think that's the other piece of
That
maybe
is the other
a
piece.
small, quick survey that could go out. And we can do a lot even through our social media. Let's bounce around some ideas in terms
That's
of.
a great idea. We can form it and then put it out on social media.
Chris and I are always trying, how do we involve students? How do
Oh,
we get the young people
absolutely.
involved? That's how I got involved in history in 1776. That was my high school graduation year. We had a town parade. Students were invited. We participated. We were part of the planning. We were part of learning about history. We were part of the community events.
Right.
And I think it's lasted a legacy of 45, 46 years later. Here we are celebrating our community and our state and our country's history again. So how do we do that?
Exactly.
I have a way of talking about how we do that, and I'll be fast, okay? I promise.
Don't hit this because it's making all the noise.
It's too big. Can
Don't
can
touch
you?
it. Just talk.
Well, I'm on my tiptoes talking to them.
Picking you up.
Good. Basically, I've presented and Kristen has presented to the Historical Commission, and I'm hoping the Historical Society, which I'm on the board of, and Leslie has been terribly, terribly, wonderfully active forever, that we will coordinate as the historians in Westboro, including the library's History Center, if Tony Weber, even though he's retired, can be part of that, because his head is chock full of Westboro history as well. Also, we have some other historians that do reenactments. Perhaps you know of Gary Gregory, who has an actual printing press from the Times and ran the tours in Boston, colonial tours of Boston, in costume, and has printed the original Declaration of Independence. So he has been invited to go to London in costume as Ben Franklin and reenact, by invitation of England, the role of Ben Franklin and the printing press and communication in London. So this is a Westboro resident. It'd be nice, and actually, I'm the program chairman of the Westboro Historical Society for the last 150 years, and basically, we have asked him to present a program that is called Rebellious Communication, or Communication of Rebellion, because Westboro, like other towns, their taverns were the hotbed of rebellion in a town. we have still standing as a witness house the Blue Anchor Tavern, which you all pass on West Main as you go up around the curve. Has the best Christmas decorations right now and a big sign that says Blue Anchor Inn Tavern. Essentially, the Minutemen are the head of the Minutemen and the regular Westboro militia, and any men who were involved with the revolution as a leader met and were parts of what is called a committee of correspondence. These committees essentially were like spies or people who wouldn't tell the British that they were going to rebel. But across the colony, there were committees of correspondence meeting in taverns, and ours was the Blue Anchor Tavern, and it is the only tavern in Westboro still standing. I don't know if we could talk them into doing a house tour of the Blue Anchor Tavern, but
It's called private property.
it is. But it's also called one of the many ideas that pop up, just like Gary Gregory doing a reenactment of his role in London, of Ben Franklin and his role in the Revolution. All kinds of ideas are out there. However, what the Historical Commission is interested in doing is to coordinate and cooperate with the other history committees in town. So that would be Leslie, perhaps. I mean, really, if you have no time, so it'll be Leslie Spirit, and the president of the Historical Society, with the director of the Historical Commission and the vice chair on this committee, Tony Weber, if he is willing to be on this history events committee for Westboro. If it works out. No, that's just us reporting to you. Okay, but we're the history people. I wouldn't ask you to run a historical event in Westboro, would I? Or I could, but how would you love to do that?
We're
You
gonna
might be
have you.
surprised.
I'd be very surprised, but it would be fun. But we're getting the historians, or hope to get the historians involved in doing only historical events, okay?
Absolutely.
For Westboro. If we want to, we could extend them through August, just like we're getting messages from the state. We don't want the money to stop coming in and the visitors stop coming in on July 4th. For one thing, on July 4th, nobody's going to come to Westboro. They're going to Boston.
Yeah,
I think one of the challenges is family vacations too.
right,
So
Leslie.
It's a benefit that people may be traveling here, but I think a lot of our residents may be traveling
Out.
out away.
Yeah.
And that's always a challenge.
That's why we wanted to do it like June 26th versus July
Right.
4th.
Everybody takes
So
off.
you're thinking of making our current event have a little different focus.
Yeah,
Yes,
and how
and
we
that'd be
can
the
do that.
block,
So
right,
we would
correct.
think of some ideas around that.
to keep
event
everybody
to-
together
to do
in
that.
one place if possible.
It's
We're adding a
just-
little extra flavor to the block party this year.
Right.
Some revolutionary flavor.
Working with some of the other community event organizers that are part of that to either highlight a piece of Westboro history in their thing, tell a little different story. If it's a craft, how to make that connect back to, 18th century.
Exactly.
Things. That's an interesting thought process. And I think that it would happen.
Because we have such a window of time, Leslie, and I
Yeah.
want to get you guys most definitely
Right, so-
involved.
so the other thing is it's a very busy day and it's very family driven
Yes,
event.
yes, it
So
is.
that's why I'm thinking of how do we connect to the students, the children who live in this community to have that takeaway of what history was like. That to me is that, creating that impression. So a kid, wants to read more, wants to learn more, wants to tour our own community. Not every family can live in Minuteman Park. And we
Right.
have a site here that commemorates a piece of our history. It's not a place-based history, but it has a commemorative approach. And so having maybe, and this is the latest things, having a barcode on a sign there That when people show up, they can scan it, and the family can now get a little bit more piece of history that they can share with their students.
Right.
And
And
that would be great to do with high school students, getting them involved, writing that content, and just making it more come alive so that even our residents here have a greater appreciation. And one thing I was thinking of is taking my witness house list and creating a tour.
Yep.
So you could do it in your car on a
Or
Sunday morning.
open trolley tour with Westboro.
Anytime.
But not every, that's 40, 50 people. We have 18,000 residents.
That's right.
So how do you
Well, the-
empower the information to an individual family who says, you know what, it's a quiet Sunday. Let's get on our bikes and go tour a couple of these houses.
Exactly.
What I'd like to add to Leslie is that our historical committee for the 250th activities of the Historical Commission, Historical Society, Tony Weaver of the Library Historical Center, and perhaps Mr. Cullen, who is a social studies history in the high school,
Yes.
would, be part of a history-focused committee of, but not only 5 people of these different groups that are coordinating. They would be, or we would be, doing events every single month, at least through June and July, up to July 4th. If our history type committee wants to go through August, which personally I think is smart, because why cut off all the people who might want to take a vacation to Westboro for the weekend?
Yeah.
There's the concept of, though, the 250th year is the year of 2026.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can think of it in a different light.
Right.
And I know with school, to introduce anything to a curriculum, it's going to take a little
Well,
bit of
yes, it does.
time and
Yeah.
approval.
Right.
And it just might be, having an acceptance by the educators that they would accept projects based, around this focus.
Right.
Tied already into the curriculum.
Yeah, we're,
Yes.
we're thinking augmentation, not recreation. So the things that we do, how do we kind of grow it? How do we bring this story into that focus? And so,
And where the society is a natural fit is is to tie it into Westboro history.
Yes.
So that, yes, the revolution happened, they're going to study it, but what happened in Westboro? What was that connection? And so the wonderful research of David Nurse on the militia and the Minutemen is just a great kind of resource that you could tap into to tell the story a little bit better. I'm a place-based learner, to
Yeah.
understand,
Right.
where are these men buried?
Right.
A lot of them are in town. Where did they live? What is their story? And fleshing out those stories. And I think that's where students can even help us with some of that historical.
We need
That's
research.
that tie-in.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to emphasize is that I'm hoping that our history committee, anniversary committee, and I coordinated the bicentennial activities, including the parade that Bobby loves so much in 1976, okay, in July. It was a big deal, and hopefully this will be a big deal as well. But if we do what Westbrook and what Leslie is saying and have events that are for children, different students, all kinds of history learning, that hopefully will bring in families from Cambridge, Springfield. Look, they've got something for our kids too. We're coming to Westboro for this event that is publicized across the state by the Visitors Bureau. Stuff. It'll be so much, it'll be focused for Westboro. No question about it, Westboro residents and students. But the state would like us and the feds would like us to bring in other people from other parts of the state that never heard of Westboro before to use and spend money here on hotels, restaurants, gift shops, and whatever we have. However, this history committee or history events committee, one, has yet to be presented to the Historical Society because I haven't got there yet because we haven't had a board meeting yet. So,
Tonight.
oh my God. Okay. So therefore, Christian has already said, great. the Historical Commission talked about things, bounced ideas around, like having Leslie's tour on your phone. That's how you got historical back. So, and therefore, just quickly, we're bringing, they'd love to listen to us, you know that. So, and how many select times have we ever spent going over the time limit? A couple of hours, sometimes till 11 at night, if I remember being a
I
selectman.
did the agendas. Stayed to the minute, because I
You
really
got to stay to the minute, otherwise it'll be,
stayed to the minute.
You turn
top
in,
priority will be up here.
Now you're making me think.
I do, Leslie, your pin. Where did you get the
So
pin?
there's several groups that are organizing events around history. It's Revolution 250.
Yes.
They have a website. They are active. I'm active in several historical groups within the state. The History Camp Group, Revolution 250. I'm active in actually a national disability history, Teach Disability History movement.
Rich Karen does that.
Rich Karen.
Yeah.
And there's a meeting tonight at 5 o'clock.
I saw him last weekend.
And
Tell
we're
Rich
both
I said
missing
hi.
the meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm involved in that. So there's several groups that do that. They have a wonderful website. They got started before the state formed a 250 group. So they
Oh,
were
I see.
like, we got to start soon.
Okay.
They were involved in the reenactment of the Boston Tea Party. So it's a great organization, nonprofit group that is supporting historical events, and they have postings and timelines from historical societies and groups. So I just,
okay.
I have
buy
this
the
wonderful,
pen?
it's Revolution 250.
No, but do you buy them?
You can buy them. Yeah, he's got a whole store. That's how he's funding all of this. I mean, there was no money from the state, so they set up a nonprofit and started that. So I've been working with him for the last couple of years. It's just, working
It's
at,
Jonathan.
it's what?
Jonathan Lane you're working with, right?
And Tom, yeah.
Tom, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
These,
that's,
I don't know. I did a good mitzvah firm, so I got one. Yeah, it is good. But they have some really neat things, and they've got they're promoting the Journey of the Knox Trail and that whole canon thing,
Okay.
which is it went right by, and so you have to think of like how I'm always asking, how is Westboro involved in all of these things? We don't have great documentation and evidence of everything. I think I'm a primary source material person. I think the two pieces we have is Parkman's diary, and that's all digitized, and we can pull things out of there of what was the mindset of the people living here around
Right.
revolutionary thought and revolutionary ideas. The other thing is we have the actual copying of the Declaration of Independence in our town records. And I think that would be a really wonderful public reading event using students. Like we did in this room, we read Johnny Tremaine last year to kind of kick off this thought process of celebrating, the revolutionary activities and what the world was like in Massachusetts was like in the 18th century. So if you had students reading that, sections of that together, that choral reading,
Oh, that would be great,
it makes
too.
it come alive. And everyone will listen to the words differently because it talks about the, accusing England of the things that needed redress. It's that revolutionary no taxation without representation. What are our issues? Kids are forming their issues today. So
right.
it's like that lesson in history. So I have lots of great ideas. It's just,
you do.
we bounce off each other. We can barely stay in the same room. Basically, also, I was a judge of the history contest at last Monday. As you probably know, the Lions Club always runs a essay contest for high school students. I thought it was for juniors and seniors. Turns out it's all 4 years. The theme, and why I was asked to be a judge, the theme this time was, how does America's past affect its future? What was fascinating and gave me so much hope, these young people, and there were 12 high school students, all who had to give a paper on the theme up to 8 minutes long. And most of them were 8 minutes long. So talk about a long evening. It was 12 times 8 times all our judging. Basically, they were so strong and passionate about keeping the United States a democracy and would fight for the rights of free speech through their essays. And sometimes I've been depressed by what's going on in our greater world. These young high school students, and perhaps Mr. Cullen feels that, are so committed, excited about bringing democracy back and strong to the United States. And thank God we have their generation.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I don't want to cut you short,
I'm going
but
away. But the thing is, we are hoping, the Historical Commission is hoping, no, the Commission is hoping that the Historical Society, who is yet to have the presentation and vote, and the Historical Center of the Library through Tony Vaver, and perhaps Mr. Cullen, would agree to have this history events group that will plan history events,
Definitely.
like Leslie was talking about. Maybe flags, as North Row does, in front of every witness house. So, big picture, you all are coordinating everything.
You're going to
And the
definitely
little
be in.
pictures, there's going to be, or hope to be, once the commission and the society agree, a smaller history events group that will be planning and cooperating with everybody else, and then reporting what we're doing to you, the history events in Westboro that celebrate the revolution.
Awesome. Thank you, you two. You're definitely
you.
going to be in. I know. We'll fit you in somewhere, right, guys?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank
so
you
much
for
for your
coming
time.
out, guys.
You can't see me.
Thank you. You guys are great. You're definitely going to be in it.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that the chair of the group look at the calendar and decide when our next meeting is, because we've got Christmas and New Year's coming up. And if
Okay.
we're going to meet those weeks, great. If not, let's decide it now. The other part of that motion is our next meeting, I'd like to have agenda lists. In other words, I want the group to work on the group work and not entertain visitors, which we've been doing. We've had a bunch of visitors come in, and we have not had a meeting where we've talked as a group yet.
Okay. All right. So
That's my
let's
view. That's a motion.
So Gary, like next Monday, would that make sense if we were to commute next Monday?
Listen, I don't care, but it's Christmas week.
Yeah.
So how many?
So let's,
We can't do next week. Okay, then we'll do probably after the new year then.
yeah,
right?
let's do after the
That's
new
my
year.
point is,
Okay.
we're,
Okay.
we've,
We'll look
we've,
at the new year.
we've entertained everyone that the town has put in front of us, and it's been great. It's very educational, but we don't know what we're doing yet.
So Christmas week would be the 22nd, and then we have New Year's week, which would be the 29th, if you guys want to meet that week. If you wanted to skip both weeks, it would be January 5th
How about January 5th
Yeah.
for the
for
next
everybody?
meeting.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And the second part of my
January 5th.
motion is, we still don't know what we're doing. So I'd
Okay.
like to at
Is
least,
that good with everybody, 5 o'clock, January 5th?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay,
this is where you say discussion.
discussion. Everybody fine with that?
Yeah, we still have to get to Gary's report on the,
Okay.
Yep.
Next on the agenda is,
Well, do we want to keep going, or do we want to say we're done? And the reason I say that is it's going to cost us $30,000 if we want to do fireworks, because it was already planned by someone first back when the Spirit Committee was around. So that's 30 grand. If we want to move forward, Christie's going to put it into the procurement process, whatever. But I talked to the vendor that had estimated it before. They still had 20/20 vision on what we had wanted back in whatever year that was.
2023.
And so I felt comfortable that they knew what they were talking about. And they're available on the 26th.
Okay,
However, on the drone stuff, it's going to cost 45 grand, but they're not available.
right.
No.
All right.
So
Makes it easy.
we can find someone else, but that's condensing my report down. Can we go back to my motion?
Okay.
Okay, so I think, if I may, so I think we've had one motion a couple weeks ago, whoever made it, to have that date and to have everything down with the block park.
Right.
As much as we could.
That
And
was
I think
the,
that motion was made and seconded and voted on.
right.
So I think what Gary's saying is to kind of narrow down, like what are we doing that day
Right.
with all the people, we've spoken to?
Mhm.
And what do we actually, I believe what you're saying, Gary, is what do we actually want to do?
Right.
Right.
Do we want to do the fireworks? Or do we want to do a whole bunch of different,
There's a lot of good ideas being bannered around.
yeah.
Very much so.
Fireworks, I like. The whole town can participate. I realize it's a problem for your kids. Being sensitive, and I'm,
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of little kids in town.
the flip side is, I hear, drive around town, you hit the app, and I don't know about that, but it's an interesting idea. To me, that's a great Eagle Scout project. But
Yep.
we haven't defined it as a need, as a project that anyone can say, hey, Eagle Scouts, anybody want to do this?
Right.
So I'm done personally, a little frustrated, sorry, but I'm done with watching presentations. We're supposed to do something by July. So I think at some point we got to kind of decide what that is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and going with that, I mean, I think there's one big decision, which is, does all the money go to fireworks or some other big event, or does it go towards planning a variety of little things? Because that'll leave the whole budget to do some huge events. I mean, that seems like something we would need to decide sooner.
Agreed.
And we have that short period of time, that little window that we have to go through.
The thing that concerns, and this is not a thinly veiled attempt to push through fireworks, but if we're going to do a $30,000 spend, then the vaunted process to, negotiate, the town has to get involved.
Yep.
That's going to take time.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So that's why I'm suggesting let's all, unless someone wants to put another motion on, let's focus next meeting, whatever date that is, and
June
let's
5th.
January.
let's do what we're doing now, and that's
Okay.
talking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nobody except us.
That would be my recommendation.
There we go. I second.
I'll second that.
Yeah. All in favor?
Get Amanda come.
Discussion.
I'm just
Discussion.
saying, I don't know if you actually need to do this as a vote, you just sort of decide what's on your agenda, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is, we're not deciding the agenda.
Yeah. We called all these people.
The agenda is coming to us from Amanda. I don't know where some of these topics are coming from, and
Because you know why, Gary? Because we requested these folks to come in front of us.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And so that was requested,
well,
and then Christie, I'm assuming.
And then I
processed-
requested the discussion of the 250th fireworks, Gary.
I
And then
I understand how that happens, but we went off the rails today. Okay, we didn't stay on our agenda.
Well,
Well, exactly.
it was a lot of great information that they were giving us, so I didn't want to interrupt when they were,
Let's do this, so that's done.
yeah.
That's done. I hear what you're saying. I think the committee does. And January 5th is the next meeting,
Yes.
and we'll decide exactly what we're gonna
Yeah,
do.
motion carried.
Yeah.
not do. I
Yeah.
think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you vote for it?
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for it.
All right,
Okay. All right.
Be weird if you did.
No, we don't need
Your
to.
point is valid.
We don't
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
beat a
yeah,
dead horse.
agreed.
No, that's
Yeah,
right.
your point's valid. We should start to
Yep.
get some clarity on what we're doing.
Yes, very much
good.
so. I agree.
We'll do that Monday when we get back.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays to you too.
Merry
This is good.
Christmas.
This is good.